There's big education every 2 years. You gotta
Yeah.
take all. Used to be a scholar insurance thing.
Do it.
Yeah, I was that's part of work. It's just, lucrative.
And then start opening back down to the one that says all contacts and it auto generates.
But what are the other, you're supposed to keep this massive ledger of everything in your entire life you've ever done.
Yeah, I have a book.
You do actually, like our office, Louisa.
Contacts have the yours.
I know.
Usually in our office,
Yeah,
you know.
I usually don't write down the number. If I don't know the people, I have to check the writing to see who to say. And I write it.
Did you hold them that long? You just built the same one?
Oh, really?
They're not doing.
I think
I
that.
What did you know you're talking about this softball?
He's already in that. Mine needs his way.
It's always adorable if a new person comes on the board. I know about this. All that was sidewalk. You have to walk through the mud when you come to the door.
Yeah, right.
One lawsuit later.
Jeremy's so great.
How many years was that? Yeah. And if you look at outside.
Probably longer than we've seen. Rogers.
Fuzzy, tomato, tomato.
That's not a good thing.
No.
That probably would be.
We live streaming.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for down there, yeah. I gave them all. Yeah.
And if you look at the.
On the inside, so outside, he has a blue insulation.
Right. Litigation.
And plastic on the inside. And then you have.
But going through the background, and you sit down and
We did just talk about stuff.
They said it was a,
who is emergency contact person.
it wasn't by.
Motion, second.
Yeah.
Then you get you.
Now,
Looks like people won't have a chance to be funny.
Gotta get real boring.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Lance Cross will be attorney, or Sue Ann Milligan was on the city council, she was a lawyer with us. She said me earlier on, she'd tell me funny. It's funny at the meeting, but you're reading the transcript. You're reading the transcript, it's not as funny. Right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Requiring.
I do that every day. Say it.
Get her back.
Well,
74.
I didn't know
There's
you
a
were
big
camping.
blue gray house.
No.
I could have come down there yesterday. Don't want to go where it's going, and just north of James.
I have one
Oh,
2 days.
okay, just right. Yeah, 74. That was the last one, and it's one of them family deals. Really? Well, Donnie said when they got his, he came in
I
and
know you did on.
3 or 4 pieces, I think. It was a American.
Yeah. That's what mine is.
Oh, really?
I can deal with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one. My power is.
Yeah.
One incident.
Yours says a pretty
Good,
tall.
thank you. One incident.
Yeah. Almost too tall.
I wish they'd have built that garage,
Yeah.
that close to tearing that front garage.
Sure.
Ready?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. This meeting is being live streamed, so if you do not wish to be recorded, time to leave now. Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Any additions or corrections? Yeah, they need it. Do I have a motion to approve?
I will make a motion to approve.
Motion made, and I will second it to approve the minutes of the last meeting as presented. Those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Publication of claims. I went through the claims yesterday, everything looked good, so I make a motion, we pay the claims as presented.
I will second.
Motion been made and seconded to pay the claims. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Publication of the payroll docket, again, I went through that, so it looked good. Make a motion, we approve the payroll docket as presented.
I will second.
Motion been made and I'm second to approve the payroll docket. Those in favor?
Aye.
Department reports, anything not already on the agenda?
Dwayne already talked to a couple people about quotes for the sewer plant building, for that building down there, not up here. So just wanted to put that out there that we definitely need somebody to come and look at that. And whether we figure out how to vent it better and make more light come through it. And I did take the flag down that's up at the park, so we're gonna order a bigger one or big one and put it back up, but there's no good way to put a flag on that. It's one position. You know, flag should at least spin a little bit. This is always locked in one position, so when it starts going around, if the wind catches it, it wraps it around and it starts ripping it. So and there's just no good way to put a flag on that pole. I don't know, how the pole looks like it was probably built when the old castle school was still there. That's probably when it was put up. So, it just doesn't have a good way to put a big flag on it. Without it spinning, it's going to keep ripping. But they last for months, but it will keep ripping.
Do you think we would have enough funds left to do a new flagpole once everything's settled up? Maybe we'll get that after everything's.
We could, or we could just use other funds from something else.
So we don't have to keep replacing them.
Mhm.
Anything else from you, gentlemen?
The well, they did put in the new well last week, the new pump. We grabbed a sample today and we'll grab a sample tomorrow and take them up to the county health department. They have to do a test. It has to pass 2 samples before we'll be able to put it online. So if it was done right and everything, they done it. It looks good, pumping good.
The water tower?
At the water tower, yeah. We just got to pass two tests.
Legal?
Nothing.
Law enforcement?
Nothing.
Ken Smith not here. Public? Anyone have any comments or anything? Rhonda, I know you. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle with the youth softball. Just letting everybody know that we are going to be playing at that Field 1. We have games scheduled there. I heard there was possibly that permanent mound was coming back in. I had heard from Ron Brown himself that you guys had bought a removable mound and that you guys had not picked it up. So I was wanting clarification of if I was being deceived, how that was happening, and that currently I have games booked till the end of June on that big field. So
I'm not aware that they purchased one yet.
No, as far as I know, they haven't.
he told me back in, because I called him in January or February.
Things have changed since then.
Right. Well, this is what I was told,
Okay.
that that one was already purchased, because I was gonna get a Spark grant for one, so that we could play on that field. And he was like, we've already purchased one, we just haven't picked it up yet. So within the past week or two, I heard it was different and that there's now being required a permanent mound is supposed to be put in. I'm just letting it be known that I have softball games scheduled for that field, is where I'm sitting at with it right now. And I've tried to contact him, and he has now blocked me and refuses to talk to me. So
Have
That's
you
why I'm here.
contacted Ray Perry?
I have talked to Ray Perry,
Okay,
and he's heard an earful from me too. So,
okay, because they're the ones that have the contract for the ball fields this year.
well, my name is actually incorporated with that league, and I can cancel that whole entity. Is where I'm sitting at with it.
So who, it was
Chris Farsadi
Chris
was,
Marsati.
yeah, me and him are going in on it together. I haven't been able to be at the meetings because my kids are busy. I left it up to Chris.
Because it's Chris and Ray that have kind of been,
It's been going through the town board, is what Ray told me it was going, the town board wanted it done. Because Chris was the one that told me I could have that ball diamond. That's the whole reason why I got into this last October, whenever I first showed up about it. Been in deals, well, you know, behind the scene deals with Ron, and now it became like,
well, Chris signed the lease, if you will, with the town for the ball fields for this year.
right, and I was in on it with him, because
So-
my name's on that paperwork too, that he turned in for you guys.
So that's kind of up to you guys to figure out. We don't make, the only thing we do, we just ask them to come and, like, if they want to make a purchase, those funds are in, you know, accounts with the town.
Well, Ray's telling me that
They
you
just need to
guys,
tell us, you know, hey, we want to buy this ball diamond or this mound, for this amount of money, and then we have to approve that, and then they can go buy that.
well, Ray said you guys said a permanent mount has to be on there, so that's why I'm here. Because Ron won't answer my phone calls, so I'm showing up just to basically like, I've had games booked there. I mean,
We don't run the ball league, I can't,
that's what I didn't think so, but Ron's been doing all the behind the scenes talking, and since he's refused to like actually talk to me now, this is where I'm at, so that's
Yeah.
why I showed up.
so
today.
if you, your name is on the paperwork that you signed, if you signed paperwork with the town,
I did not sign the paperwork because I cannot be here. My name's under the legal entity for the Ladoga Ball.
Okay.
I can cancel all that. Like, I'll get my name completely off of it.
well,
It'll go
that's
off.
between you and Chris.
Well,
Because he's
I'm-
the one who signed all the paperwork for the town.
Right. Chris knows I'm here and he knows I have issues, and that's where it's became,
We can't do anything about that.
well, it's being told to me that's the board saying it's the permanent mound going in, that the town board is making it happen, is what I've been told.
Ray wanted that. I was at that meeting. Ray wanted the permanent mound, said there's no reason to buy a portable one. Everybody wants a permanent one. And so that was all Ray saying that he wanted.
Yeah, he's
The
telling me
permanent.
it's the town board, so that's where, like, I'm just showing up to figure out what the actual
Our
truth
only
is.
part was having
So,
somebody sign the lease agreement, if you will, for
Right.
the mounds, and then giving approval for funds to go out for improvements. That's the only
Right.
role we play.
Because someone was letting us believe that the girls weren't gonna play there and didn't.
They
do
did.
it.
well, see, and that's the problem is people are speaking for me that have no idea, and that's never been the case. Because I started this whole crap back in October so my kids could play because we need the diamond.
The money's there to buy the mound.
Right, I was told it was already bought and it just needed
Mhm.
picked up, and I was told that by
You
Ron,
need,
so.
you need to pick out what you want and get an agreement with everybody and tell them what to order.
Well, it's not what I want, because I have nothing to do with
Well,
baseball. I was just willing to get the grant so I could still play on that ball diamond.
Yeah, that's, anything that has to do with anything with the ball diamonds now, that's between you and Chris. And we're just here to be like, okay, here's your check to buy this or to approve this. That is our only part.
When's your first game that you need to?
We start, well, 12U is like the week of the May 19th. I have games from the week of May 19th to the end of June, which I've already sent that off. Like, Chris has seen the schedule and all that. But that's where the permanent mound was coming into play. I was trying to get that stopped. Ray was telling me it was the town board. So that's basically why I showed up today, because my kid's gonna be late to practice because I can't
Right.
get straight answers from Ray, and I can't get an answer from Ron, who started this whole deal. So this is why I'm here. I guess a little frustrated, to say the least.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I mean, we can't, force them to talk to you or to do anything that
No,
we're not gonna
I
do, but, I mean, we could maybe reach out and just say, hey, do you know what's going on? Are you planning on coming and asking if we can buy this, but that's, I mean,
right.
Well,
that's why Ray directed me this way, because I didn't even know he's the one even asking for it, because Chris and I were under the understanding that I could use the ball diamonds. He gave me the fun, I had the dates that I could plan my games, and that's when it became, they're actually putting a permanent mound in. I can't have a mound.
I don't know, they said at the meeting that they could make it to where that one of the fields could be used for the softball games.
The small one.
Yeah, so,
Right, and the small one cannot because of the backstop. Because there's no room for, because I'm using it for 12U. 12U needs more space, is what the problem is. And there is no games being played Monday and Wednesdays. There's only 3 games total that are being played on field 1, and that's the field that Chris said I could use.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, that's the field that mound is maybe going to show up. So I'm kind of wondering who I really need to be like harping a little bit harder, because
Well, Amy, you said
I'm
that
getting directed.
in prior minutes, the town approved the purchase of a removable portable mound, but that hasn't been actually bought. The town would know that because it's with town money.
Right, but
So-
Ron's the one that told me that it was already bought. And so that's where like I'm being deceived by, do you see how I'm getting like deceived by a couple people at this point? So,
It has been approved.
To buy one, not a
But she
permanent.
doesn't need it, Ray and them would need it, because you want no mound, right?
I do not need the mount. I was willing to help get the money to put it up there so we could play.
It'd be baseball's call for what to get.
Ray,
Yeah.
Ray needs
I was
the
just
mound.
willing to get the Spark grant, because it was opening up for the Spark grant. They give up to like $5,000. It was going to be a need. I was willing to apply for it to get some of the money to pay for it, even though I had nothing to do with it. And that's when he told me, no, we've already bought one. And so then I just let it go, because I was like, well, if it's already bought, what makes a difference?
yeah,
Raise your name.
Oh, Ray already heard an earful last week, so I'm pretty sure he's not going to be too thrilled with me either. So
yeah, I mean, about all we could do is try to reach out to and see what
Yeah.
they have to say, but yeah, other than that, I don't know what we could do because they did say they were gonna, they were aware that you wanted to use one of the fields and that you would be able to, is what they said, so.
right. Well, Chris is the one that told him to hold off on the permit mound a long time ago, so he wasn't even aware of the town board. It was brought to the town board about putting a permanent mound in either. So the people that need the information are not we're just getting told different things from different people. So
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know.
no, I was hoping he'd be here. So because I can't even show up on the Saturday meetings because I'm gone all the time for my kids and stuff. So.
Yeah. Well,
So
I get your information afterwards and try to see what I can find out and let you know if I get any different answers than you get.
I've got the minutes right here.
Yeah.
Where we talk about it. If you want, you're more than welcome to read them.
Oh no, you're
No, seriously, you might.
like if you've already done it saying that you guys could buy a removable mound, then I don't know why it hasn't been done because their season starts next week.
Well, reach out, make sure they do.
They don't need a permanent one.
Yeah.
Because I really just need it for this summer. Like, if I'm being honest, if you guys can do, they can do whatever they want. We're already finding different stuff for there's 30 kids from Ladoga that's in the softball. And after this year, I don't know if we will return to Ladoga because of this mess. It's not a headache I need, to be completely honest. It's supposed to be fun for the kids, and it's not been a good experience.
All right, moving on. Next from the public. Next one will speak.
I don't like speaking in public, nor even this few people, but we have, my name's Rhonda Hubble. I'm one of the owners of Shifty's Bar and Grill up the street. I don't know everybody here, so I'm not from Ladoga. I moved here 5 years ago, and have since purchased the bar. We're working on what's called a Dora, and I'm sure Trish.
I'm familiar with those, yes.
So that we have so we're working on a Dora because Gina has been working on the farmer's market at Ryan's parking lot back here, the gravel lot. And the Dora, it just basically allows patrons 21 years and older to walk around town in a specific area that's been designated for the Dora. Like they can't just wander all over town. So we presented there's a map in there also. So we've tried to be more specific with Emporium 109 and Shifty's to walk down this side of the street. We have included to walk across Washington and down to the library and come back across and come up the alley by Trisha's beer garden. And that would include, would help her out too. She would have her foot traffic could come out her front door and go down her alley with the alcohol and sit in her beer garden. Also, the farmers markets every Tuesday. We purchased a horse trailer that is a mobile bar, and we'd like to use it at her farmers market. So that would include that parking lot in the back. Which is your exhibit A, I think.
It also makes it easier on the permitting, and you don't have to get a temporary permit for each time we do a farmer's market. Or if we were gonna have a festival, we don't have to get specific permits for those. There's already vendors that are approved. There's already businesses that are approved. The business doesn't have to allow the alcohol carried into their business. They can, and they don't even have to put up a sign, but every business that wants to allow someone to walk into their business with alcohol has to have a sign. So then there's signs posted at the boundaries, and this is going on in many, many cities all of a sudden in Indiana. And
Jamestown's working on one. We just thought it would be increased foot traffic. It would attract more people to the downtown area. They can enjoy their drinks. Cause like, I know how we sit is they can't step out on the sidewalk with well, they can, it's up to them. But at that point, they're not allowed to come out that door with a beer, a glass of wine, or anything with 2% or 2 ounces of alcohol as a cocktail. They can't step out our front door. I'm sure Trish is aware of that also.
They can.
They can.
There is no law in Indiana that says you cannot carry alcohol outdoors. We can't serve it outdoors if it's not a designated area or it's not approved.
Okay.
So not smart of them to go walking around
Yes.
with a beer in their hand, because then, like Mike could step in and go, what are you doing?
Yes.
Like there's no law against that, but it just kind of, if you want to get arrested for public intoxication and you've had too many,
Yes.
then it's an issue.
Yeah, it's up to that person at
Yeah.
that point. So we wanted to include Trish and us and the farmers market so they could walk around. It's just we feel it'll increase sales to our retailers, because if the retailer agrees to be a Dora, they can take the alcohol they can take it into their establishment and shop if they choose. It's up to the retailer. You have to have a Dora placard that states.
they have these in Westfield, and there's one in Noblesville or Carmel, I think.
Especially Lafayette has a lot of areas.
And there's just lots of people out. I mean, it's not I don't think people are looking to go to a bar, get drunk, and then go running around town. That's not what this is. But if you want to go get a glass of wine, go to an art gallery, that's what the thing is set to do. And I think it's just one more thing that we can do as a town to make Ladoga a place to come visit. And we're hoping the event place soon they're looking at doing some things over there, and that event space, then that would just all tie into the Dora.
So as it sits right now, I have to to extend my drinking area outside, I have to file a temporary permit for the day, and I have to extend that to the sidewalk and I have to mark it off, and it has to all be marked as 21 over, and I have to,
And
another doorway,
roped off.
and I have to have it all roped off, and it just is a lot. So it's $50 every time I have to file a temporary permit. So we're just trying to get this done, you know, allow people to walk around and enjoy the area, try to bring more people to downtown Waukegan. I don't know if
Yeah, if you just want to leave.
I have an ordinance. I don't know if they want to. You guys don't. I don't specifically need. We need it signed today, or if you guys want. I only have one copy of what we proposed for the ordinance. Just want to take a look at that. And every person that has to sign. Each business has to sign out or fill out one of these for the designated outdoor, which I filled out one for the business and for the lot back here for the farmer's market. And Gina has filled one out. They have to be signed by a town official, city or town
The
official.
town would have to agree, if they agree to the ordinance, and they would agree to the businesses, and then they would agree to the vendors, and then all of that would get sent to this ATC. Should say the ordinance here.
I'm gonna shoot these with the ordinance.
Oh, God, it's got behind a farm accident.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
So we're talking about.
Opinion?
I was trying to say, it's, like I said, you know, other towns, other cities have them everywhere. It's mainly so people that don't have the ability to serve outdoors, can do it legally. And then, like she said, you know, it's not illegal to walk around with a beer in your hand anyway in Indiana, but it makes it to where it's more welcoming and you can go into other, you know, places like that. I'm not sure how we would feel about people coming into our businesses from other businesses.
Well, we can't. Go ahead.
No, that's a law. You
Yeah.
can't do that,
Yeah.
but people do it.
They
And they
do.
may, I just think we need to make them aware of that too.
Well,
Yes.
there's some that have even taken it a step further, and they have a Dora cup. And everyone purchases a Dora cup, and you can't take your Dora cup filled with alcohol into another place that sells alcohol. You have to only purchase when you go in, but you could take that into a business that doesn't sell alcohol. So it's up to the people that sell alcohol, whether they want people to come in with other alcohol or if they don't. That's a decision they can each make.
They can't do that.
But we can't do that, yeah.
That's illegal.
Yeah, I can't leave my
We
bar
can't.
with a beer and walk into her
Yeah.
establishment with
But
that.
would the door allow that?
No, the door does not
It
allow
just
that.
basically opens up public sidewalks and access ways for people to walk around.
Within a
carrying alcohol.
confines of your business?
Within a certain
In a
area.
map of the town.
We
The
have the
ATC
map.
has to, here's what she's proposing, like,
And then it's up to
that
your
block of
board
Main
to
Street
decide
and then back to,
We can't.
the lot behind, Harley's
cannot,
house.
even with the door.
Yeah.
If you're a door.
Well,
I do believe, yeah, it's because that's an 8.
Right.
Now that.
Because I think
Yeah,
as
right there.
an
He's not
alcohol
doing
business,
all that
it's
doing
your decision. whether
Yeah, I just saw the other day.
allow it
Sure,
or not.
that's why I started.
Just told last night he wouldn't do it.
No, I want them to buy
Oh.
Well, as of right now. I can't.
Okay.
Oh,
Exactly, right now.
That is
Yeah.
that.
Exactly, right.
The cup or anything to go.
No.
Yeah.
So there is a confined area, they just can't go traipsing from here down like the park.
Yeah, we,
Yes,
yeah,
there is a map.
They can do anything.
there's a map, it'll be, it has to be
But this
signage
is-
has to be done in the,
Like she said, it's mainly like if we had a bunch of like shops along Main Street, those folks could allow those people to kind of come in and shop and that kind of thing without being illegal because it has to be ATC approved.
No, I didn't.
But right, like the way it stands now, we don't really have any.
Mhm.
But the new shop across the street opened up, but
What?
the art gallery,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
opened her shop over there now.
Who's the
So like she
closest
could,
town to us that has one? Who's the closest town to us that operates with?
there's a whole list of them. I would say the closest one.
I don't know if there are any small towns that have them. Lafayette has.
Yeah,
Right,
Lafayette has one,
Lafayette can do it.
Noblesville,
Name a small town.
Westfield.
Westfield.
Name a small town.
Small town.
Give me a smaller town.
Yeah.
You say Jamestown now?
Jamestown's working on one.
Jamestown's
Working.
working on
Jamestown
one.
working that way.
Yes, they're working on one also.
We bigger than smaller than Jamestown, Mike.
We're about the same.
About the same.
We're not comparable to
Do
anyone.
I?
Yeah, we're just, what it has, you just have to be specific, like you have to put signage. You have to say that they're leaving that
Yeah,
area.
you're entering the door or you're leaving the door, and
Yeah.
there's all
Yeah.
kinds of signage out there from all the different ones, and that all can be determined.
Yeah.
as
Who
that
buys the
yeah.
signs? Who enforces all this?
The sign is just to enforce them to stay in the
Who's
area.
buying that sign to put those signs up?
I'm willing to.
Who's going to enforce all this? 'Cause I'm not willing to.
You and Tricia,
No,
I'm being serious.
I'm trying enough people to babysit. I don't mean,
fair enough.
I don't know.
according to the ordinance, it would be the
I think,
town police department that
Yeah.
would.
No.
She brought in.
Do you have an extra copy of the?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one. Yeah, I got one.
I'm
Oh,
not
the
willing to
order-
put our department,
Oh, I
our
thought it was
town's
ordinance.
liability
I can
to babysit.
get copies.
I don't have it.
There's
April
There's no law that says
April
you can't walk around.
Here, here's the,
You just
here's
can't
the
be
rest of
drunk
it.
in public.
Okay.
There's no reason. There's not, I can't see a justification for it. Yet, there's been no good justifiable reason to have it.
Just my request is, wearing my town attorney hat, would be just to table this,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get input from law enforcement and other businesses and
Maybe if we could get everybody from law enforcement to come in and just kind of,
I represent law enforcement.
oh, I know,
You won't get all of us together at the same
No,
time,
not same time.
especially Ryan's either
Well, I
working
know
or
he's
school is
usually
off.
there, yeah.
Does Crawfordsville operate with one?
Nope.
No,
But this is fairly new, just
What's
within
the
the last
benefit?
3 years, 2 to 3 years that these have started.
And this is, I mean, this is what we're proposing, because it's obviously, it's a lot of paperwork, and it's a lot to do, and a lot of people don't want to do the paperwork either. I mean, it's just really up to the individual, like, I'm just presenting this to Ladoga today, because it's just something I would like to do to increase like foot traffic
Okay, there
downtown.
you go. I wanted to hear a benefit.
We
And there's a
have,
Foot traffic.
there's a list of benefits on that first page,
And
says
if you guys didn't hear, excuse me for being late. I got behind a farm accident outside of,
that, okay. Yeah, there's why the Dora is the first, there's a page that says why do Dora.
got it. See it.
At the bottom, it gives you reasons why.
Yeah.
No, here it is. Yeah, there's benefits of the door at the bottom of that front page.
yeah. I know, we can table it, and that way we all have a chance to read through it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So we're not just sitting here reading in silence.
Okay.
Thank you. We will table this and take it under advisement and moving on. Next one, oh, yes, Gina. Yeah.
I was asking about the electric pole for the farmer's market that's starting in less than 2 weeks.
That will depend on how much money they want to spend, not me. There's an issue over there that IMPA said the pole that's across the road is no good, so it has to come out. There are 3-phase hookups on that pole that they want to do away with. So that pole there has to come out. Those 3-phase things have to come off the pole. They'll have to set a new pole over there. They can either put the transformer over there or across the street. And what kind of funding is this going to bring the town if you're just having a farmer's market once in a while, compared to probably $10,000 it's going to cost for electric now? That's what it's come down to. I thought it was going to be,
Why is IMPA being a pain?
Something.
Why is it like, oh, now this pole's bad?
well, because there's a pole over there. When they went and looked at it, the guy pulled out his pocket knife and went,
Okay, so
stuck
whether
it,
we
stuck
get
it into
the,
the full pole 4 inches.
whether we get the pole or not, isn't that still an issue?
Yeah, it's gotta come down. That one's gotta come down to be replaced. But,
We're talking about over here, right?
but trust me, I'm not a lineman and I'm not doing it.
I wouldn't expect you
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, and for them to come in and do it, it won't be cheap. So, you know,
So generators it is, thanks.
that's just where we're at right now.
Is it gonna have to be done anyway when he puts the,
It will. Yeah,
The,
when he wants,
duplex
when he
over there?
wants to put his duplexes in, yeah. But just, I mean, I hate to say it, just for the farmer's market, it's, you know, that's a lot of money for
how close is
what
he
you're gonna
to
get.
that?
Well,
Has he paid his stuff yet?
no,
Probably.
they came down and marked where they're gonna put the sewer and the water, but I haven't heard anything from them since then.
Because if you remember right, they tried to put a duplex at Franklin and Nebraska, and they got turned down.
They got turned down because of the
Drainage.
drainage and all that stuff.
We
People,
gotta check before we approve.
there are a lot of hoops you have to go through now to do stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Looks like we ought to
And
get
then it costs a lot of money.
an estimate from, input as to
Well,
what,
there's an estimate. We already got
Oh,
an
you got
estimate.
it?
We
Okay.
got an estimate just to replace that pole,
right,
but not to put transformers up. We already got the other pole over there.
Okay.
But, and then to run it across to that. But Impus we already got a quote for that pole there and it's a good one. And then to throw a transformer on it and put all new wire up and run it across the road.
Is that the only, what else is fed off of that?
Oh, that,
Going,
if it just comes across the road, that's the only thing it's gonna feed. Then
Oh,
there'd be just
just the lot.
2 houses or 2 duplexes or whatever. I don't know anything about those switches on top there. I don't want to learn anything about them. Just too much voltage. I want to retire one of these days. We'll see. With both my hands.
yeah. Something else we need to table one for the next meeting.
When do you say that's going to be, Gina? 2 weeks?
2 weeks from yesterday.
Okay.
Thirteenth.
And you can't have the farmer's market without the electricity.
I mean, we can, it just means that it's louder because all the food trucks have to have their generators. And then I have the band that usually needs power. The last time we got by because nice Harley let us run an extension cord from his garage for the band. I can do that again, but I was hoping not to have to. Take Harley's electric. But yeah, I'm not trying to cost the town a bunch of money, I'm just trying to, do something.
Now,
That
you're,
seems to be a
you're not
good-
the one that's going to be costing it. It'll be Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, that's Ryan's lot. It's not your lot. That's Ryan's lot. So he's got to realize that this is going to be a little salty. I can get a hold of Info again. We gotta talk about the park, and then there's 2 poles over here now that just got called about by the railroad tracks that say they are telling me they have to come out, the power lines have to be moved off of them, and then they told me that, oh yeah, that one's got a electric meter and everything on it, and it feeds the railroad, and it's gotta come off. So, instead of just chopping the pole off and putting the wires on another pole, no, those poles have to come out, and everything has to be taken off of it. So, I gotta get a hold of them for that. So,
This is.
if we give them about a week's worth of work, they'll be more than happy to come and do it.
What about the pole at the park for the vendors that had an issue last year? Dwayne, that pole that you had to fix last year?
park doesn't have power anymore. We cut it all off because of the new park going in, so.
Yeah, it's all, that's all gotta be replaced too.
By the fish fry?
Before that, but yeah.
Some good news, thank you.
Well, that's just good news because they said they're not gonna meter it, right? I mean, that'd be the fastest way to do it. If you don't meter that, they'll throw a transformer on it and transfer the wires over and be done with it. You meter it, it's gonna take a while.
Sounds good. More public concerns or anyone have things to say.
I think this might be a good opportunity for us, for Ladoga. All right, perfect. So my name is Chris Foster. I am the CEO of the parent company that owns Ladoga Recovery Center. And for the record, we have Brian Foster, no relation, just more intelligent than me. Brooke Casey was Director of Nursing for Ladoga Recovery Center. First and foremost, thank you guys for giving us a venue and allowing us to say what we have to say. So I appreciate that. As you guys all know, there were recent concerns brought forward by Sheriff Needham over the last couple of weeks, maybe a month at this point. And I wanted to provide the city and the community with an update. And I also wanted to kind of create a venue for the community to ask any questions and see what we can do about creating more of a culture of transparency and communication with the community. But I'd like to first give somewhat of an introduction and give a brief, and it'd be very brief, of what we do. And I think that's very important for everybody to understand. First off, for myself, again, Chris Foster, CEO of Aspen BHC, which is the parent company. Which is more important than CEO is I'm an individual in long-term recovery. About 14 years sober. I am an Ivy League graduate. I am a father. I'm a son. I'm a community member. All my obligations and civic duties are up to date. I show up today. And the reason I say that is because, again, almost 14 years ago, I was the client in a Ladoga Recovery Center. Hopeless, helpless, heart infected, liver failing, no family, no friends. And somebody gave me a shot. I'm from a very rural area. Somebody gave me a shot. Reason why that's so important is because the individuals that we treat in Ladoga are not just clients to us. Those are my people, and that's going to be our future for a lot of them. And a lot of them are mothers, fathers, children of mothers and of fathers, and they have a problem, and we're there to help them. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. We have a lot of stuff that we have to work on. It's important for everybody to understand, and maybe we failed at that in the beginning, and I will take full ownership of that. We did have a change of management before we even opened the doors. What was disseminated to the community, to the first responders, to the public officials, to the sheriff, I don't know. And I'm sorry for that. And if it was misleading, I apologize on behalf of the organization. So I want to set the record straight and make sure that I answer any questions that you guys have and be fully transparent on what we do. We provide good work. Gets rough sometimes, so disheartening. But the staff members that we employ, we have 56, I think today, 55, 56 to date employees. Makes us a fairly large employer in this area. We are adequately staffed. Sometimes I'll argue with him, we might be a little overstaffed, but I'd rather be overstaffed than to make sure that these patients receive the care that they need. I can tell you that I rise above, articles and scrutiny and the stigma, because I've been doing this for so long. However, a lot of these people haven't, and we have a lot of paraprofessionals that work in this industry that are working their way up. And then August 27th was my first time that I walked into that building, and I walked out scared that we weren't going to be able to do this. And fast forward, I am so incredibly impressed with that team that we have there. I can't say enough about them. But when they wear that Ladoga patch with pride, and they wake up in the morning to an article or to Facebook posts of people criticizing what we do, to me, whatever. To them, they wake up to make $18 an hour, or they spent 5 years in school to make better money that way, to get that, to walk into the gas station and get looked at. And that hurts, right? It's disheartening. because of a stigma. And it's perfectly okay. We had that discussion, we had a debriefing, we went over it. And we're gonna get better. But I want the community to know that we're here to support you, whatever we can do. In any way, with community pickup, donation, whatever we can do, we're here. In fact, we're growing. The services that we offer, we treat sick people that want to get well. Some of them don't want to get well. Some of them are on, mandates, right? We take them, but we are licensed by the state as a subacute facility, which means that we treat subacute patients. And are they high acute? Absolutely not. They can perform their ADLs. Our patients are also poor historians. I don't know if anybody has ever dealt with a drug addict or an alcoholic. They lie. They don't report well. And sometimes they know what to say to get in the door. And our job is to assess and evaluate the patient as they're coming in to make that determination on whether or not we can treat them. And sometimes we determine that, they in fact didn't tell the truth and we have to make different arrangements. However, since this last meeting, it was reported, in the paper, 34 times in a month. That's obviously not right. It was since our opening and our inception. I think we all know that. We didn't call 911. However, we did identify that there was, I don't want to say it was abuse, but there were more calls than we should. There's this saying in our industry, when in doubt, send them out, right? Because damned if you do, damned if I don't, pardon my language, we don't want a dead body on our hands. Right? There's only certain things that we can treat. We have put processes in place. We've trained, and our emergency resource calls have gone down substantially in the last month. And that I can promise. We have the data. We share it with Fire Chief and Sheriff Needham on a weekly basis. We have a cadence with them. We are now searching every patient that walks through the door before they walk through the door on my case through the state of Indiana. We're checking the sex offender registry. We're doing all of that. Now, we're still trying to determine what is a high risk patient with criminality and assault and battery on an LEO or a safety officer. We're still trying to work through this, but I think we've made a great effort in substantial changes that you guys should be able to see the impact. And we're going to continue that. There's not going to be drift. Brian's dedicated to this, Brooke's dedicated to this, and we have a great team. We are at, not only did we decrease the calls substantially, but we increased our census by 50% within the last 45 days. So even with more patients, our processes are working. We just met for our QA meeting 2 days ago, went over every incident report. Everything is documented. I'm a compliance geek. So I want to make sure that I see everything and track everything. So I wanted to share that with the community and also just open it up to any questions about who we are, what we do, what we're going to do, any of your concerns. If I don't have the answer now, I promise I'll get it back to you. I'll give you guys my contact information. Call me at any time. I say it all the time. My wife watches The Real Housewives or whatever. I'm sitting there bored. Trust me. Call me. Text me. Open line of communication. So I do appreciate it again, but I want to answer any questions that anybody may have, if you have any.
What's your patient census on average since you went into, I guess, your date of inception though?
Sure. So our first patient that we accepted was on 10/24, and we've grown month over month. Right now we have 52 patients.
With how many beds?
Really, we can do 64 in there. I took a couple beds out. We're licensed for 56 right now, but we're staying at that 50 to 52 mark is our sweet spot.
Now, most of the patients, I would say 3-county area, are they more encompassed in, are they out of state or?
Nobody's out of state in here in Indiana. We are a Medicaid facility, right? I pride myself on Medicaid. Yes, Medicaid. I believe in treating patients, indigent patients that are state funded. Socioeconomically, I don't care where you come from, what you do, your race, gender. We'll treat you, but 95% of our patients are on Medicaid, so it's going to be a state product. County-wise, I mean, we transport a lot of them. See a lot from Lafayette. I mean, Terre Haute, tons from Crawfordsville. We've treated plenty of people from Ladoga. Jeffersonville, Brownsburg, Indianapolis, everywhere. Our community outreach and clinical outreach team is pretty widespread. So we have a lot of we have a lot of connections with the courts, the probations, the hospitals, and we've become a pretty good provider for them. They like what we do. But yeah, all around Indiana. And then we're looking into, I don't want to say because the NDA and legal stuff, we're looking into a neighboring town close by to expand.
Do you have to use Suboxone or are you involved in methadone to help long-term?
Sure, good question. So we believe in MAT, medication-assisted treatment. However, 2025, right, it's not really a one-size-fits-all for everybody, right? But it is an offering. There is education on it on a daily basis for individuals who may be a good fit on any buprenorphine products, which is Sublocade, Suboxone, Subutex. Methadone we do not use. In fact, if you're on a certain milligram of methadone, then you become too acute, and we won't be able to adequately provide services to you. So you'll have to go to more of an acute setting, finish that, then step down to us if you want to titrate off of it. However, we're not a SAMHSA facility. A SAMHSA license our certified facility. So we do not prescribe methadone.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Detox, res, really no outpatient. Patients are there for 30 days. Male, female, primary substance use, as we know, some of the calls are psych patients, right? It's co-occurring enhanced. So we do treat, we do have plenty of clinical staff and medical staff, psych staff on duty to adequately treat these individuals.
So you're the director of nursing?
Yes, I am.
RN?
Yeah.
So when you leave, you have an LPN or another RN?
I always have an RN in the building. I do also use LPNs and QMAs as well, just to help.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Most of my nurses are RNs, so.
And then counselors, licensed counselors, I assume?
LPCs, and LCACs, is that what they are? LCACs, LPCs, so licensed, so we have master addiction and then mental health counseling, social work. Right now we have.
So social, oh, awesome. Good
Yeah,
deal.
so social work, social work are able, so LCSWs are able to supervise addiction credentialed bachelor level, so they can get their master level license. So it's always helpful to have a social worker on site. Plus they understand that the public.
Now, do they help them get back into the real world then, once you guys say, hey, congratulations, you graduated, it's time for you to fly?
Sure.
The social workers intervene and help them get placement or?
Social workers and case, so we have case managers for that. So peer recovery
okay,
coaches,
okay.
right, that handle all of the discharge planning to make sure that there's an adequate treatment planning and succession plan, which was in full transparency one of the bigger issues that Sheriff Needham had addressed, right? These patients are leaving AMA. We put a process in place. We have an MOU with a local organization that we at least get them somewhere safe outside of Ladoga. So we don't have individuals who are homeless walking around, stealing, doing anything like that. However, there are the individuals who do say, I'm not getting in the van. I'm leaving on foot. We consider them vulnerable. We have a we call non-emergency. We let them know there is an individual. Here's a description, just kind of like a wellness check type of process. But most of the patients, we ran the numbers. We have the numbers. Most of the patients are completing. Most of the patients, but there are some that just don't. Yeah. We have that process in place, and we pray that they find their way back into a
Success
center.
rate is never where you want it, is it?
What is it?
Your success rate in that business is never where you want it.
And then define success, right?
Exactly.
Look at fidelity measures
Right.
Nowadays, I don't know what success is. If I can get you to stop robbing your grandmother, I'll be happy. right? I'll be content if I can help
Yeah.
1 out of 100, right? But yeah, I mean, the goal is get them into the next level of care, which will be our other facility as a step down.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you for answering those. That's good answers. I appreciate it.
no problem.
Appreciate you guys coming in. I had the chance to talk with Brian a couple weeks ago. It sounds like you guys are just constantly trying to, improve upon things and, figure things out, and it sounds like you're doing it. So it's much needed here, so appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And if there's anything that anybody needs, please, we're always here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Just one question for Brian. Where do you work out?
I got a home gym now.
That's Gronkowski right there. I don't know if you noticed, but it's Gronk.
He's the big boy.
Useful.
He's the muscle down there, isn't he?
Anything else from anyone, fella? Any more comment? Whole business, concession stand repair and replacement. Yeah, some estimates here today. Not exactly all quite apples to apples.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know Mike went and looked at it. I don't know if you had a chance to go look at it, the concession stand.
Mhm.
I looked at it. It's seen better days, but the siding's definitely rotted. Some of the wood inside of where the hole is at the concession window, you can see in there, and it's all just rotted. Roof's missing, shingles, so yeah, it needs done. I think only one of these quoted for removing the old wood. And then it also definitely needs some venting because you can smell it from outside. So it's not pleasant.
Yeah.
That's on there.
Underneath is that.
This one,
Any woodwork would be extra charge.
yeah, this one just says metal roof and walls.
The one with
This
The
one has, yeah, it says more, woodwork will be extra. And doesn't include any of the gables or the vented ridge or anything either. So this one's more, but it also includes, I think,
Includes
everything
more,
that
yeah,
probably
it
needs
looks
to be
like it.
done. I don't know what the guys think, but
The only woodwork that's gonna need done is, basically where that window opens on the north end. That's gonna have to be pulled off. They'll probably place 3 foot of 2x4s and then put that piece of wood back on it, and then they're gonna metal completely over that window. And the only way to get in and out is gonna be through the roll-up door now.
Because you won't be able to open that window.
So basically, if we go, we can,
They can try to
Well, I
do
mean,
it,
they
they
can-
can try to do it again, but water's just gonna keep going
I
right
started
now.
saying they can just put a table at the end of the door, I guess.
Yeah.
we already told them that's what we were doing. I
Yeah.
mean, when we met with Mike, then we went and told them, and no one's
Yeah,
said anything about it, so.
yeah, it needs done.
Which one do you like, Mike?
Well, this one, the math still, it's like they actually include more,
A little bit more thorough.
more money.
The one that's been there since '97, so
Yeah, that's.
it's still, got-
Ray had told me when
it's
you
still
guys
got a
told
great
me.
frame and everything, except that one spot. If you just went back over that, and it should last another 20, 30 years, so.
It's a solid structure, that,
I just think, I feel like they included everything that needs to be done and then some, as far as like if it's like the fence at the gable and these aren't really, this one doesn't include anything other than the metal work. And then this one just says it'll be extra, not really saying how much.
Right.
Or replacing this or maybe, so.
Just a question here, Amy. Can that come out of,
You can.
the $20,000? That can't come out of there?
It could, but doesn't need to.
It doesn't need to? I'd like to make a motion, we accept the bid for, PMAS for the repair of the concession stand.
Motion been made, you have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion been made and second to accept, PMAS, bid for the repair of the concession stand. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah. opposed? Infrastructure contract. Discussed a little bit about IMPA,
I didn't know if you wanted,
but yeah.
I tabled it, so
Okay. And they're not here to actually
Yeah.
answer any more questions, and I do have a couple more questions. We'll be at an IMPA meeting on the 30th, and I want to go, and more than welcome to.
and Dirk was here last week and said, if you do have any, if you want him to come back, but he
Yeah.
wasn't happy to come back.
Yeah, I talked to Dirk last week, so. All right, let's table that. All right, talk about new business, with other recovery. Items from clerk treasurer.
Amy Reeves called. She wants to know if we got a quote from Scott Lowe for the fence around the small playground.
We did it at a meeting
Mm-hmm.
a while
I
back.
thought we did that a while back.
We did.
We have it.
We have the quotes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Am I supposed to have that?
I think so.
Yes, ma'am. I can ask him for it again if he can't find it. I think, because
Well,
I
it might
think
be
at the
different
time,
now if it's been a while.
it has. And I think at the time he was just doing it, for the regular fencing, and he was gonna give us a quote for the black vinyl or green vinyl or something. But I don't think that ever happened, so we can ask him for another.
You might want to do that because she's getting a quote from Smith. She didn't, I didn't hear what she said, but she's getting another quote that she said she sent me to, and I don't have it either, so. But that's all I have. If you wanna, are you gonna?
I'm gonna message him now.
April, you have anything?
Just the, proposal, I got that turned in. We're going to have a feedback meeting with Okra. He has called, I haven't gotten back with him, so then I'll let you guys know, they'd like for as many of you that can be there to be there. And Dave and I are gonna be working on a digital media policy, like a policy for the meetings, like how long we're gonna keep them, where we're gonna keep them, who can be here to vote and when. And then a policy about editing the videos as well. And
So,
then-
yeah, state law sets the rules. Starting July 1, we've got to have everything live streamed and all that, and how long we've got to keep and all that. But we kind of, each municipality should have its own
Mm-hmm.
specs and ordinances and all that for how do we do this?
Yeah.
How do we make state law work?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, now, April, these are, the last two have been up already, right?
Yeah.
According to feedback you can see on Facebook, the chatter page, they're up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we've got, if you go to YouTube and search
Uh-huh.
us, it
Right.
shows up. And then I've got the link on our website as well.
Okay, good.
Um,
And by the way, do you see the open door law, open door notices have to include now the link for the live stream.
Yeah.
So
Really?
So are you talking about on the,
we're okay now. I'm talking effective July.
July.
Yeah, effective when it's,
Next month.
yeah, we need to update our form.
so not on the agenda that I put on the door? Does it have to have?
Probably there too. The smart thing to do is put it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Then to add, so that isn't this, there are some test videos on our YouTube channel. I'm going to delete those because they're just test videos. And so if you guys want to look at them before I delete them, that's fine. But by the end of the week, they're just delete them. They're not And then we were contacted by IEPA about a customer who said that we told him he couldn't have solar. They gave me his name, so I'm going to write him a letter saying that yes, you can, you just have to go through this process. And I'm gonna certify mail that to him.
Is that the guy that come to the meeting? Been months and months ago.
I don't think so, because that was already something that was in the works.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so
okay,
we've had
sorry.
the ordinance since 2021.
Okay, oh,
So if he came
okay.
before then it's entirely possible, and I don't remember saying that, I don't remember anybody saying that, we couldn't find it in the minutes where we did
Mhm.
say that. But since 2021, it has been an option, and so I'm going to send him the ordinance, the application, and all the information for it. So that he will be made aware.
Sounds good.
And that's all I got.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, that's all.
Oh, okay.
I'm done.
Thanks from the council.
I got one to go on here, and this is personally just for me, and more for the people that's watching for video. It's great we have this on video, but I think that the perception is that we go out and we look for people to send complaints in, and we don't do that. People mail those in, or people will text us and say, hey, we would really like this brought up. And I think I speak for you two when I say we represent the people. You guys out there don't work for us, we work for you. And if somebody brings a complaint, I don't care who it is, Micah, the president, needs to read that, or if Tricia gathers one and she needs to read it, it needs to be read, because we take care of the people no matter who it is. We're not singling anybody out. And at the same time, I think we need to be respectful as citizens to council members and other citizens that may have come to the meeting. Because to me, there's nothing like actually coming and sitting in those seats. And then that way you can, when the public has a concern, you have the right to speak up from the seat. You can't do that from YouTube. What you're gonna hear is what we talked about, then you get on and then you give your opinion on Facebook and the chatter page, and it just causes issues and confuses things. I highly recommend, highly think that it's great for people to come into town meetings. That way you know what's going on. I mean, my gosh, Jay's been coming for how long? I don't think, yeah, you haven't
Longer
missed
than
one
you.
since I've been here. But yeah, the board's not out to get anybody, I promise you that.
Maybe we need to start hanging out at the library board meeting.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not?
You're welcome. Yeah. Does Jay go over there too? Oh, Jay's on the board?
Yeah.
We'll go hang out at Jay's meeting.
There you go.
We got one tomorrow night,
Okay.
There you go.
5:30.
But no, that's my soapbox. I'm off of it now, and it's a high jump for me, so. For what it's worth.
I thought we were gonna make it through one meeting, right? Without the bill.
Tracy, you have anything?
I don't have anything to say.
I had a couple of verbal complaints this week about a place on Washington Street. It's always a problem. Always. See,
Two complaints?
yes.
I was gonna say, I don't have anything new in writing or anything. There were two people that talked to me. Three. One doesn't live here. One was
Good.
passing through
Mm.
and was at the restaurant and asked me what was going on.
Mhm.
They just said that when they were coming into town, they could smell it and it was not pleasant.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah. But the other two were, that was the complaint with those as well. It wasn't anything to do with anything that's there or what's going, but it's the smells that are coming from it.
Right, yeah. Understand.
It's getting to look, I thought, and Mary didn't care. I thought she sent me something. I'm not gonna look for it. I'll
Ponder if you
bring it up.
guys want to call an executive session about what the town might do as far as ordinance enforcement. Doesn't commit the town to do anything,
Right.
but the executive session is closed, no live stream, no nothing. So ponder if you want to do that. I'll need 48 business hours notice to do that. I don't know if you want to do it for the Saturday meeting, or that gets kind of usually standalone. And Mike, as president, you have the authority to just sort of say to call it.
Yeah.
Standalone. I'll make this up. 4 o'clock some random day or before a meeting, but ponder that option.
Good idea.
May not be a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree. Consider that. No one has anything else? I have a motion to adjourn.
Sorry, go ahead, Tricia. I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
All right, I'll second that. Meeting adjourned. Thank everyone for coming.
I have one. John.
Gentlemen,